Did you know that some people can understand exactly how you feel, not to comfort you, but to manipulate you? Imagine someone becoming your greatest emotional support, only to use that connection as a weapon against you. Today, we're diving into a psychological profile that blends charisma, emotional understanding, and manipulation. Dark empaths. These individuals not only understand your emotions but know how to exploit them to gain control over you. If you've ever felt like someone was playing with your feelings, this video will give you the tools to understand what's happening and, more importantly, how to protect yourself. Dark empathy. What is it and how does it work? Dark empathy, also known as cognitive empathy, is the ability to understand the emotions of others without necessarily experiencing them. This type of empathy doesn't stem from genuine concern for others' well-being. Rather, it's a strategic skill used to analyze and respond to others' emotions for personal gain. Paradoxical as it may sound, not everyone who understands others' pain does so out of emotional connection. Some use it as a tool for manipulation. Unlike effective empathy, which is based on sincere emotional resonance, dark empathy is calculated. Individuals with this trait can read your expressions, listen to your words, and grasp what you're feeling, but their response doesn't come from a desire to comfort or support you. Instead, it's designed to provoke a reaction in you, gain your trust, make you feel guilty, or divert attention from their own mistakes. This makes them masters of emotional manipulation, knowing exactly what to say and do to maintain control. This ability to manipulate emotions is so effective because it exploits one of our greatest strengths: genuine empathy. People naturally respond to displays of pain or vulnerability with compassion, making it easier for emotional manipulators to achieve their goals. It's hard to question the authenticity of someone who seems to be suffering or showing interest in us. However, behind these seemingly altruistic actions may lie a well-calculated strategy, making dark empathy one of the most dangerous tools in the hands of manipulative individuals. A dangerous combination of connection and manipulation. Dark empathy is a new concept that describes individuals with traits from the dark triad: narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism, combined with a surprisingly high level of cognitive empathy. Unlike the typical narcissist, who often lacks sensitivity, dark empaths can emotionally connect with others while simultaneously using that connection as a tool for control. This profile, while less overtly aggressive than others in the dark triad, is considered one of the hardest to identify because of their ability to fly under the radar. These individuals understand how you feel and what you need, but their intent isn't to help. It's to dominate the emotional dynamic. For example, a dark empath could be a friend who listens to you and seems to understand you better than anyone else, but they eventually use that closeness to manipulate you, making you feel guilty or exploiting your insecurities. This combination of empathy and manipulation makes them natural leaders in certain contexts, as they know how to motivate others while maintaining control over the situation. Despite their charisma and social skills, dark empaths have a deeply selfish side. Their seemingly kind acts are often driven by a desire for admiration or personal gain, whether it's status, power, or influence. This makes them especially dangerous in close relationships, where people tend to trust them more due to their seemingly altruistic behavior. In reality, behind that warm facade, their primary interest remains self-serving. Charisma and vulnerability, the secret weapons of dark empaths. One of the most distinctive traits of dark empaths is their charisma. They are outgoing, sociable, and charming, appearing genuinely interested in others. This natural charisma allows them to easily gain the trust of those around them, granting them access to personal and emotional information that they can later use strategically. Their ability to connect emotionally, albeit superficially, can make them seem like trustworthy allies or even inspiring leaders. However, charisma isn't their only tool. Dark empaths also know how to use vulnerability to their advantage. They may share personal stories or display emotions that make them seem human and approachable, fostering a deeper connection with others. This calculated use of vulnerability is a way to emotionally disarm people, making them feel they're in an authentic relationship when, in reality, they're being manipulated. The danger of these emotional weapons lies in how easy it is to fall into their trap. Dark empaths don't just seem genuine, they often act as though they share your values and concerns. This behavior creates a false sense of security that can last for months or even years before their true intentions become clear. That's why it's crucial to learn how to identify patterns of manipulative behavior, even in those who appear to be the most understanding. Emotional duality, awareness of their dark side. Dark empaths are aware of their manipulative side. Often, this self-awareness makes them highly self-critical, to the point of experiencing high levels of neuroticism. This means they may have episodes of anxiety, depression, or self-loathing, which makes them seem more human and vulnerable. However, this self-criticism doesn't necessarily stop them from manipulating others. Instead, it adds a layer of complexity to their personality. This emotional duality can confuse those around them. On one hand, they appear to be individuals with genuine inner struggles, generating empathy for them. On the other hand, their actions remain calculated and manipulative, creating a cycle of confusion and guilt in their victims. This behavior isn't accidental. By displaying vulnerability, dark empaths keep people emotionally tied to them, even when their manipulation becomes evident. The combination of self-awareness and strategic manipulation makes them hard to confront. On the one hand, they seem sincere in their desire to improve or change. On the other, their behavioral patterns suggest that their primary goal remains control. This cycle of promises and setbacks can be exhausting for those around them, as there's always hope that their moments of vulnerability signal real change. How to identify patterns of manipulation in dark empathy. Identifying a dark empath isn't easy, as their behavior often blends with acts of apparent kindness and genuine connection. However, there are patterns that can help expose them. One of the most common is the strategic use of emotions. For example, they may alternate between being warm and distant, creating a cycle in which the other person constantly seeks to regain their affection. This type of dynamic subtly maintains emotional dependency in their victims. Another important sign is their tendency to use guilt as a manipulation tool. Dark empaths are experts at making you feel responsible for their emotional well-being, even when you're not at fault. This behavior can manifest through passive-aggressive comments or situations where they make you doubt your perceptions. In the end, you feel trapped in a cycle where you're always the one apologizing or fixing things. Finally, it's important to observe their lack of consistency. While they may seem reliable and supportive, their actions often contradict their words. For example, they might promise support or commitment, but their actions reveal the opposite. This inconsistency is one of the clearest signs you're dealing with a dark empath. Recognizing these patterns is the first step to protecting yourself and setting boundaries that preserve your emotional well-being. Protecting yourself from artificial empathy, boundaries, and self-love. Protecting yourself from a dark empath starts with recognizing your own emotional boundaries and learning to trust your instincts. If something in the relationship feels off, there are likely valid reasons for it. Don't be swayed by appearances or sweet words. Observe their actions and evaluate whether they align with what they say. This objective analysis can help you identify manipulation before it deeply affects you. Setting clear boundaries is one of the most effective tools for managing these relationships. Dark empaths tend to react negatively when their attempts at control are thwarted, which can reveal even more about their true nature. Learn to say no when something isn't fair or doesn't align with your values. You don't need to justify your decisions to someone who doesn't respect your emotional boundaries. Finally, remember that your emotional well-being is your responsibility and your right. Protecting yourself from manipulative people isn't selfish. It's practicing self-love. Surround yourself with people who genuinely value your feelings, and seek support if you feel trapped in a toxic dynamic. In the end, building a healthy relationship with yourself is the best shield against any attempts at emotional manipulation. Now I'd like to hear your opinion and personal experience in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel.